Here are 8 Pokemon cards you need to buy in February 2026. I have to go through my collection and try to identify cards that I should get sooner than later. And while doing that, I uncovered these 8 cards that I think you should get right now. I will say I'm a collector first and foremost and not an investor. So keep that in mind when I go through these. But these are all cards that I think are either really sick looking or are going to only get more expensive from here on out, and it's probably better to buy them now instead of waiting. Some of these cards are kind of grouped together, but I'm going to roughly do this from cheapest to most expensive, so you're going to want to stick around to the end. Let's jump straight into it. Okay, card number 1, we kick off with a Charizard from the Lost Origin Trainer Gallery. Charizards are absolutely the safest bet for cards that are going to hold their value or go up. It's just how they've always worked, the original kind of chase card. And this card is really no different. It's a kind of a unique blend of cool and cuteness, and it's in a good price point right now. Let's dig in a little. Here's the price in Canadian, which is $26.75 for a near mint copy, which is pretty reasonable for a Charizard. Over time, it's gone up, really with the big market shift as a whole. At one point, this was kind of like a $5 to $15 card, and then it shifted up into closer to $25. We can get a better sense of this if we pop over to price charting, where I have it in USD. As you can see, it's only around $20. It's just been steadily rising over time, nice and slow. I don't think this is going to be like a big bang of a card worth hundreds or thousands, but I don't think it's going to go ever back down to below $20. So I'd absolutely recommend picking this card up now. It's just a cool looking card. I never buy cards just because I think they're going to be valuable. I always buy cards that I want first and foremost, and then if they become valuable, then great. That's really not the point of what I'm doing here. It's okay if that's what you're doing. Either way, I think all these cards apply to both scenarios. Definitely grab this Charizard. Okay, let's look at card number 2. It's this Pikachu from Crown Zenith. Just like Charizards, Pikachus are a great card to grab for collections. People love these cards and will always love these cards. Obviously, it's the Pokemon mascot. And this card has a lot going on here, and it makes it unique because of that. And see here, the Canadian price is $43, and it's been rising a decent amount because I've been seeing more and more buzz about this card. People are starting to realize that Sword and Shield actually had a lot of good stuff going on. Some people don't like these yellow borders, same thing with the Charizard I just showed. I'm personally a big fan because I love vintage and I'm nostalgic for the yellow borders. So I think this fits really nicely with the Pikachu. There's a ton going on here, like I said. Anytime you get a card with multiple Pokemon in it, it usually pops off at some point. You can check out the quick pricing here from my tool. You can see it really jumped up, similar kind of trajectory to the Charizard where it was really just the whole market shift. So let's pop over to price charting and check out the USD prices. You can see around $30 USD. It feels like a pretty reasonable price for a Pikachu. I'm actually surprised that it hasn't like become more popular like some of these other ones. It's just, I think there was just so many good cards in Crown Zenith that the love kind of got spread out. You can see at one point it was really down below $10, which would have been pretty nice to pick it up then. I don't think it's ever going to get back to that point unless the whole Pokemon market crashes, which is pretty unlikely. The market as a whole might drop down a little bit, but I really don't think this card will drop down. I'd absolutely recommend picking this up. It's a card that I haven't grabbed yet, but I am looking to grab very soon. So I will be listening to my own advice here. These next couple cards I'm suggesting for all roughly the same reason, and that is that the XY era cards are kind of popping off of late, specifically the Mega Evolutions. So this card really stood out because it's actually pretty cheap for a Mega Evolution. I think probably one of the cheaper ones. And it's from a set that is super popular and fairly expensive because it's loaded with Charizards. That maybe is the reason why it's down a little bit. But $68 Canadian for a Mega Kangaskhan with his gold border is actually pretty cheap. And I pulled one of these way back in the day when I opened my own Flashfire booster box. So I already have one, but it stood out as probably the cheapest Mega that you can get. And I absolutely recommend grabbing them before they go crazy. You can see it's just basically steadily risen in price with the whole market. There's really been no dip. If you pop over to price charting and check out the USD prices again, $27.50. And just like my tool that I use, it's kind of a similar story here. For the past 5-ish years, it's been pretty stable, but rising overall. If you're like me and really like the XY era of cards, then I would definitely recommend picking this up. It's pretty unlikely that it's going to drop down, and much more likely, especially in the short term, that it's going to shoot up a bit. Okay, off the back of that Mega Kangaskhan, I'm recommending 2 additional cards, and I'm grouping these together because really they're the same thing. We have a Mega Houndoom EX from Breakthrough. Houndoom is again a really popular Pokemon. I know that it's Deep Pocket Monster's favorite Pokemon, so it kind of shoots up whenever you put something out. This is just a cool card. Like, their color scheme is kind of interesting, not something they did a lot of at that time.
If anything, it looks more like a modern card with some of this stuff than it does like an XY era card, and I think that's kind of interesting. You can see it's really not crazy expensive. I'd put it on the higher end of a regular Mega EX, but compared to some of these other cards I'm showing, it's nothing crazy. So at $27-ish Canadian, we can take a quick look here. This one's actually leveled off and looks like it might drop down a little bit. It's definitely interesting. Of all the ones I'm suggesting, it's possible that this one drops a few more dollars, but I'd expect overall that this will be a card that just goes up over time. Lots of people make Houndoom collections and Houndoom binders, so this will be one that people need. And again, XY era of cards, we're hitting like a bit of a nostalgia wave for people who were collecting 10 years ago. People in their early 20s are kind of hitting that age range where XY was the games that were out. We can take a quick look at price charting again, so $15-ish USD. And I should mention that you can get these cards for cheaper than these prices that I'm showing you. I'm showing you near mint to mint versions of these cards. I mean, price charting isn't my favorite. I'm kind of using it just because it has a longer history tail here. I bet you could go on eBay and find a $10 copy of this card that's maybe LP or MP and looks great for binders. Now, if you're doing it from an investment perspective, try to always get the best value thing. And if you're really into it, I never push this type of thing. I think grading is very rarely, if ever, worth it, especially as a collector. It's kind of a new fad thing. You can get graded versions of these things, and they'll follow similar trajectories, just at bigger dollar amounts because they're worth more. Okay, the card that goes with that Mega Houndoom that I was talking about is this other Mega Houndoom. This one is really cool. I mean, maybe you might be a little surprised that it's only $81, as this is probably one of the cooler cards in the set. There's a couple really nice art rares, but Houndoom is just so popular, I'm somewhat surprised when I saw the price here. Breakthrough is not one of the more popular XY sets, but it's alright. And this is one of the cooler cards in it, like I said. So $81 Canadian, it's honestly following a similar trajectory as the other Mega Houndoom. It's possible these ones go down for a little bit and then come back, is my guess on these. Obviously there's a huge jump from where they were a year ago. That's true of pretty much every card. Let's see if the price charting tells a bigger story here. You can see the crazy disparity between ungraded and a PSA 10, PSA 9. It's kind of crazy. You can get 7s and 8s for almost the same price. So if you're looking for something that you know is in solid condition, you grab a PSA 7. You see price charting here on a longer tail and not just the 1 year view that we were looking at in Pokemon GG. It really shows the story more. Obviously, Pokemon was pretty stable for about 3 years before we hit this crazy spike. And then it's been pretty stable at that spike. So if you're testing the market as a whole, again, I think this is a cool card to pick up. Absolutely recommend it. Okay, the next set of cards is actually 3 things that I'm going to show all at once. It is the Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Mega Venusaur EX from Mega Evolution. This one maybe is a little selfish of me to put in here. I just think these cards are super sick looking. The art style is so unique, and it's really because of how unique it is that I'm thinking that these are good cards to buy right now. Let's look at the Bulbasaur first. I actually got a Mega Evolution booster box from Pokemon Center, so I got the stamped version and ended up pulling a Bulbasaur from the very same booster box. So I got 2 of them here, as you can see. Super cool looking card, and the best part is they kind of flow together. I'll check out the pricing before we jump to the other ones, but $20-ish to $22 for a Bulbasaur. It's come down a lot since it was first released, which is pretty common. Wow, the graph is pretty messed up there, so we'll skip that. Take a look on price charting in USD, $15-ish. Pretty cheap, I think, in modern prices for a card of this quality. I really liking the look of this. It's a card that has, gone down quite a bit over time. I'd expect it'll level out around now and maybe maintain for a little bit and then go up as people are getting more and more into the Mega Evolution era. Really, even if this card drops a little bit, the Venusaur at the end, which we'll talk about, is kind of carrying the whole trio, and I think you should just get all 3 because they look super cool together with the continuous art. Let's pop over and take a look at the Ivysaur here. Just a natural evolution, literally, of the Bulbasaur. This one's basically the same price. I got it recently for I think a bit under $20 Canadian, a near mint copy. So totally gettable now. I think they started around $40-ish. Yeah, the classic release price and then coming down. You can see it's flattening out pretty good. Again, let's pop over and take a look at the USD price. 16-ish dollars. Same kind of story in the chart here since it's so recent. So grabbing those two, plus getting this Mega Venusaur, I think is going to really complete the package. As a collector, it's always kind of cool when they have continuous arts like these and kind of a collection, a mini collection inside of a set. I really like Mega Evolution as a whole, and a lot of that is because of these 3 cards. So this one's a significant jump over the Bulbasaur and Venusaur at 160-ish dollars Canadian. It was way more expensive at the start. It's come down pretty nicely, so I'm going to be picking it up very soon since I have the other 2. Again, I believe that this is kind of going to level out here with most of the modern stuff over the next little bit, and then maintain and go up over time. Let's take a gander at price charting USD prices here. Exactly what we'd expect, around $123. This would actually be a good time to pick up PSA 10 versions if you care about grading. I, again, do not care about grading, but as a ratio from ungraded to PSA 10s, it's only double, only in quotes, but that's pretty cheap for PSA 10s as a ratio. There you have it, 8 cards that I think you should grab as soon as possible. As you can see, I'm a collector first and foremost, so I'm really just talking singles here. And when you're buying a singles, you can get much better deals than trying to buy sealed product right now, which is not the recommended way to get any of these cards. If you like this kind of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I'm going to try and release one of these every single month going forward. I'm really hoping to bridge the gap between collecting and the cost of cards here. So I really want to be pointing out cool cards that I just think you should get because they're cool. As you can see, a lot of this is really just vibe driven, but I have a pretty large collection. I've been collecting since the very beginning of Pokemon cards. So I feel like I have a pretty good sense of how these things play out over time. I think in a couple months, I'll come back and look at what these predictions were and see how it played out and check over them over time. And then we'll find out if that's true. Thanks for watching. I think you should check out this cool other video I made